Russia's vetoes since the collapse of the USSR have been focused almost solely on unilateral purposes. Russia is currently in conflict with Georgia and Abkhazia, so of course it would veto any UN resolution to aid those regions. With the issues of Myanmar and Zimbabwe, Russia is guarding its own interests in a different way, by setting a precedent that discourages international scrutiny of sovereign nations. China's aims have been much the same as Russia's, in that China seeks to avoid setting precedents for authoritarian regimes to come under international criticism. China's vetoes were also on Zimbabwe and Myanmar. The United States has been using its veto power generously over the past several years, specifically regarding Israel, a close U.S. ally. Israel has been engaged with the Palestinian nation for years, and the conflict has been largely one-sided. With the U.S. barring all multilateral UN action, Israel has been free to escape allegations of war crimes, treaty breaches, and other misgivings. After having looked at examples from 3 of the Power 5 nations that hold the veto power, one thing is clear. The veto power is being used today to guard unilateral interests and to guard the allies of those who hold the veto power. The veto power was intended to be a privilege granted to the most powerful and developed nations of the time out of respect for the international power that these nations wielded. The understanding, of course, was that the nations, with international experience, developed economy and society, and advanced military, would be given this power in order to safeguard the interests of the UN. It may have seemed necessary at the time to lend the UN credibility by giving these nations an incentive to join. I believe this issue to be the most pressing, because in order for the UN to properly deal with all of the problems and crises that occur worldwide every day, it needs to be able to function without being roadblocked by its own members. The United Nations Security Council veto is a major impediment to the working function of the United Nations. So please, Mr. Secretary General, sir, place UN reform at the top of the agenda. For the UN cannot be an effective and efficient organization, and the organization it was founded to be, until the problems within it are rooted out. Chief among these is the Security Council veto power. It places too much power in the hands of unilateral nations and has been a roadblock to peace for the past several years. Thank you.